Well, top business leaders and politicians from across the world are assembling in the Swiss resort town of Davos to discuss the future of the global economy. An estimated 3,000 politicians and business leaders, including 65 government leaders, are attending the four-day World Economic Forum summit. The summit in the snow-capped resort city is happening at a time when the global economy is facing unprecedented challenges. And the global financing institutions have warned of rising recession and slowdown. The two largest economies, US and China, are engaged in that bitter trade war we were just talking about, and major economies are facing political headwinds of rising nationalism and protectionism. China, which has generated nearly a third of the global growth in the past decade, has had its lowest growth in 28 years in 2018 as a fallout of the US tariff war, as well as the weakening domestic demand. India remains the only exception. The country remains the world's fastest growing major economy. India is projected to clock at a 7.5% GDP growth rate over the next 2 years. Combined with a young and aspirational demographic base, India is expected to become the third largest consumer economy by 2025, and a delegation of over 100 business and political leaders from India, including the Commerce Minister Suresh Prabhu, are attending the summit. The summit has also had some setbacks already. While Donald Trump, the leader of the world's largest economy, cancelled his own and the US delegation's visit to in view of the face-off with Democrats over that border wall he's been fighting for, an unprecedented government shutdown. The UK Prime Minister Theresa May is also not attending the meeting either. She's battling Brexit. The Russian President Vladimir Putin, the French President Emmanuel Macron are also not attending, as is the Indian Prime Minister, who will not be present. China will be represented only by the Vice President. So, though top leaders, of course, are absent, some activist groups are hoping that the showpiece event would address real issues facing the world. The development charity group Oxfam has come out with a report that says that the rich-poor gap widened sharply in 2018. The report points out that the world's top 26 billionaires have assets equivalent to of 3.8 billion at the bottom half of the population, while the fortune of billionaires rose by $2.5 billion a day. The poorest half of the world's population saw their wealth decline by 11% last year. In India, the fastest growing major economy, 1% of the country's rich got richer by 39% against just 3% increase in wealth for the bottom half of the population. And the rising inequality remains a big worry, and activists are hoping that some of that would be addressed at Davos.
So we're seeing some progress, but not enough. So we're here in Davos, I'm here in Davos, to call on governments to wake up and take up their responsibility and tax fairly, tax wealth, and put money in the public services that people need. Last year alone, we saw billionaire wealth increase by $2.5 billion every day, while the wealth of the bottom half of humanity, $3.8 billion, was dropping by $500 million a day. This is a trend. It just doesn't happen just once.